Poboy Special here. Came across something new. If you know us, then you know that that's always the case. Advantage tactical sights. We're going to show you what they are, and it's for pretty much a lot of handguns. It's a very unique and interesting design and concept that really caught my eye. Here we have it on a Glock 23, and it is a chevron, and just so you know, you can see nothing. You can see the chevron design, that when the front sight triangle completes the chevron design on the rear, it is completely in line and on target. What that means is the old-fashioned system of the 3 dots. You have 2 dots on the rear sight, then 1 dot on the front sight, and you line the 2 dots up with the front sight dot, so not only is it lined up vertically and horizontally, but I mean up and down, but side to side. When you get it perfectly lined up, then that's where your shot goes. With this new design, with the chevron design, that when it makes the complete perfect triangle, you're on sight, you're on target. If it's off just a little bit, you just realign it, and when you see that perfect triangle, that's it. So I put it on my Glock, wanted to test it out. We'll show you what it's all about. One important thing that we've learned from this is if you have a Glock that was former law enforcement usage, this is a used one, and it's been used, even though it's a Gen 3, it had the tritium, or it was actually meprolite sights on it. And at that time, what the manufacturer did was they actually pressed the front sight on. So up underneath here, you had, it's kind of like a rivet that came in up underneath here. So in order to remove that front sight, it doesn't have the nice little screw, the hexagon screw that everything comes with nowadays. The new Glocks, very easy. You just take out that screw and you're done. But the older ones, especially ones that have been used for law enforcement that have the night sights on them, you may have to punch that out. We're going to take this over to Scotty's Gunworks and let him show you and explain to you how to overcome that predicament. Alright, Scotty, so what are the tools, or what are we going to use here first?
Well, basically what we're going to use to unstake this front sight is, in this case here, I got a steel block, which, you know, is an anvil. Just a steel block, you know, but it'll give everybody an idea what they can use. And I put some tape over it, you know, so when I lay the slide like it right there, it won't, you know, mar the finish or anything. We'll just lay it upside down like that, and we'll take a punch, you know, and just basically punch it out. Sometimes we may have to take a file and cut it a little bit, but I think in this case here it should just drive out with no problem. And of course it'll straighten up as it, you know, comes out.
All right. Let's work your magic. Alright, we're ready to go ahead and try and punch the hole out, and here's the punch that we're using. You want to guess at what size that is?
I know it's probably about a 1/16, I would say, something like that. Basically what you want to do is just use some common sense with it. You want to make sure that your punch is a little bit smaller than the indentions. That way when you're driving it out, you know, it'll have room to straighten back out. The little flares will straighten back out, you know, form into the hole that's in the slide here.
All right.
That's kind of what you want to do. And you just place it on, you'll have to do it, you know, you got 2 flares there, so you'll kind of have to tap on one, then tap on the other, tap on one, tap on the other until it, you know, starts coming out. And in some cases we may even have to take and cut that off a little bit. Most time they'll drive out though. So we'll give it a try. You won't know until you start where you're at with it.
And once you start, they say in most cases once you start you cannot use these sights again, but we'll see after the process.
Yeah. There we go. We're starting to come out. Well, as you can see here, it broke that little piece off, which no big deal, and that's probably why you can't use it again, because then you won't be able to flare it out no more.
Right.
And sometimes they'll straighten out, sometimes they'll break off, but now it'll come on out of there. So just take that punch and drive it on out. It's just that easy. And there's the sight. And that's what I was talking about. See, that right there, you know, sometimes they'll straighten out and then you can reuse them by reflaring them. But in this case right here, you know, it broke that off, you know, which was part of the flare. And I wouldn't feel good about using that again unless I use some kind of aqua glass or something if you really wanted to use it. But in this case here, I believe these right here are about burnt out anyway, so.
That's true.
Anyway, that right there is what it should look like. And then we'll get set up and show you how to install the next.
All right, show the underside of that. There you go. All right, let's get the sight set up.
All right, we're getting ready to install the front sight, and I'll kind of walk everybody through this. Kind of an easy process. Once you have the old sight out, you know, that right there is how it should look. And what we'll do is we'll start out with the base of this sight right here, and that's what it's going to look like. It's kind of a horseshoe shaped opening there, and you can see the bottom of it's got the oval in it that's perfectly shaped like the hole it's going to go into. And basically what you do is just use common sense with it. Just make sure you know that the opening is facing towards the rear sight, and you just push it in. Most time you ain't really got to do any fitting for it. It just kind of pushes in the hole like a cork. Sometimes it'll be a little sometimes it'll have to be kind of forced, you know, like that right there. As everybody can see, it's almost starting to go in now. You just want to make sure, you know, that it is starting. And if you have to, you can take a little plastic mallet like this right here, you know, and then tap it on in. After you're certain that it's done started. If it's just sitting up on there and slide around, obviously you wouldn't want to try to tap it in, because then you'll start deforming the little pegs that's sticking out on the bottom of the base here. But that right there is how it should look. Everybody can see that it's nice and flush on the top of the slide there. And what we'll do is we'll start out with the smallest shim. Of course, this is something, you know, you'll have to determine when you get down to the range, you know, the height of it. And we got the smallest shim we're going to start out with first.
Which is a clear one.
Yes, sir, it's a clear one. And it'll go inside that little opening like that, making sure that the hole's going to line up. Like that right there. And after we get the insert in, that right there is how it should look. And our next step is going to be to determine what color front sight you want. In this case here, we've got this one right here. And these do glow. The whole ones like this right here do glow. They pick up light and they glow. And you've got a little screw on the bottom of that. Just unscrew it. Got a little brass insert there. And basically it's just common sense. It just sits down just like that right there. Up inside that little opening. Should look like that right there.
With the slope going out away from the barrel.
Correct. Yeah, because if you put it the other way, I don't think it's going to even line up with the hole. As everybody can see, you know, it's really a no-brainer. There's no way to really mess this up. So it'll go like that right there. And as everybody can see, the little hole is perfectly aligned. And in most cases what we would do, and we'll do this after we get down to the range and determine what shim we really need, and that right there might be the right one, but in most cases we'd probably add a little blue Loctite. Not the red, but a little blue Loctite, but in this case here we won't. And it comes with a little tool, and that right there is a little tool. That's what it comes with. And that right there is what you'll use to install it. Just use common sense with that, and you ain't got to really torque that. Just finger tighten it, because if you go too much torque on that, that thing might snap off. We don't want that. Just torque it down on there, common sense. Of course, you know, later on we'll put a little blue Loctite on there, but that right there should be sufficient enough to hold that on there. Like I said, you got the tool there every now and then. You can check it, you know, until you get your blue Loctite on there. But anyway, that right there is what the finished product should look like. And now we're going to work on taking the back side off, and then we'll show you how to install the back side.
So now it's time to take out the rear sight, and what tools you need, and how you going to do it?
Well, of course they've got a special Glock sight pusher for your Glock slide, but really a universal kit like this right here is what I use, and it's one size fits all. It's just common sense.
Which is this right here?
Well, no, this right here is what we're going to use on the Glock. That right there is for our front sight, you know, and of course we got different, you know, files and stuff like that here, you know, which is custom made for custom fitting dovetails and stuff like that for sight.
Okay.
We won't need this in this particular situation. All we'll need here is a ball peen hammer and a nylon drift.
Nylon.
Made out of nylon or plastic.
Okay.
And basically how it's going to work, you'll just set it with the same contour as that right there in a padded vise.
So you don't mar the finish.
Right, exactly. In this case here.
And there it goes.
And there it goes. And it's landed over there, so we know where it's at.
And that's what it looks like once it's out.
Right there's what it looks like when it's out. Get a good look at it. Did you find it, Chris? All right. Of course, there's the sight right there, and it's usually hollow on the bottom, like this particular one right here is. And anyway, that right there is what it looks like, and then we'll get ready to install the new back sight. All right, we're getting ready to put the back sight on, and I'm going to show everybody how this works right here. You got a little wedge right here, and that right there is what's going to really snug it down. Of course, you know, go clockwise, and that's going to tighten it up. Counterclockwise is going to loosen it up. And it just basically moves this little wedge in and out. And basically what you want to do is you just want to kind of set it just like this right here in this direction here. And of course you got a little pin right here where you can knock out, you know, to change the colors, and we'll go over that in a minute. But you just take and push it in so far. Use a little plastic mallet or something, make sure it's in a good padded vise. Tap it on in like that right there. Any hard spots. And center it up. And then to tighten it, simply turn this right here clockwise. It comes with a little Allen wrench. Let's see.
And once you get it tight, about how much pressure do you put on it to make sure you don't over tighten it or put...
Well, yeah, you just want to use common sense with that as well. Use a little, just about finger tight, you know. Should be sufficient enough for this.
So don't over torque it or...
Yeah, I don't think you can... Well, you might be able to strip it out by hand, but it's going to take a lot. Because that's a pretty good little thick piece of metal in there that's threaded, so... Basically, just want to look at it. And it's also good, you know, for adjustment, you know. That way, when you're down at the range, you know, take your saddle and wrench with you. In this case here, I think we got it pretty much... Just kind of, you know, use common sense with that. It ain't got to be over just really snug. That right there's about right. Just I'd say probably about maybe 10 to 15 pounds, you know, if you got a little torque wrench or something. But, you know, you use your common sense with that, you know. Just finger tight, basically. It's all you want on that right there. And as everybody can see, that thing's really tight.
And it ain't budging a bit.
No, sir. And we'll go over this too in a minute. You got a little pin right there, and we'll show you how that works. We'll get set up, and we'll knock that little roll pin out, and we'll change the colors, and just kind of show everybody how that's done, you know, in case you want to change the colors, because it does come with an assortment of different colors. Oh, and these here do glow, by the way.
Yeah, it's the Firefly. They call it the Firefly.
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is the rear sight that came in the package, and if you want to change it, this is what you have to do. The instructions call for a 1/16 punch.
Correct.
Which is what we have here.
Right, this
and
is
and that's a 1/16 punch there.
Yes, sir.
So what you do, there's a little roll pin right here, and show us what to do.
Okay, well, you'll take it 1/16 punch, and this here is a roll pin punch. And basically what it's got a little end on it there, a little ball on the end of it there, you know. And I guess you could probably use just a regular 1/16 punch, but in this case here we're going to use the roll pin punch. And you want to make sure, you know, that you don't lose the roll pin that's going to come out of there. Put you something like a magnetized plate or something under, just something to catch it. And basically what you do is you just tap it out. You know, you can grab it in this case here, you know. And what that pen does, it holds the color in. You take your fingernail or something, up here where you can see. It should just lift right out of there. Here we go. It just lifts out of there like so. And you can see the little hooks on there. That's where your roll pin, you know, holds it in. Then we're going to change it from green to a yellow color. Basically goes in the same way. It's good common sense.
Just like that.
Put it back in your padded vise. Got a whole lot of pressure.
And again, what this is for is whatever color you desire.
Correct.
You can put it in there just this quick and easy, and whatever suits you.
Just make sure you got that pushed in. You don't want to damage it in any way. And then just take your little punch and go ahead and set the roll pin.
Until it's flush.
Right. And that's pretty much it.
And there you have a different color. And it was green, now it's yellow. And they're that simple, quick and easy to change out the rear sight color pattern.
Exactly. And what I like about it is you have got different choices there. You know, in this particular case here, you got pink in, you got other colors, you can swap them around, you know, and of course the sight pattern is going to be a pyramid. And then you'll rest your, you know, your target on top of this right here, on top of the pyramid. I don't know if anybody can tell that or not, but anyway, really good sight. You'll really be pleased with it.
Testing out the sight.
That's awesome. That's really good when you use the sight. You don't use it, you know, because I'm not really used to it.
Now we can get over this side. One.
You use the sight, I mean, it actually works.
Imagine that. The site, use the site, it actually works. That ought to be a promo.
I can get in the kill zone, but I can't, you know, make the
Use the site, it works.
I can actually hit in the kill zone without using the sight, but it doesn't ring the bell.
I mean, all day long.
All day long.
All three of us did the same thing.
Right,
and that's straight out the...
Exactly. Once you get over the middle thing, knowing there ain't a recoil coming after that, you know how you lunge a little bit, you know, when you know there's a recoil.
So you like the sort of the laser game there?
Yeah, I think it's a really good practice method, you know. Getting used to, you know, shooting the gun and everything, the trigger pull and all that. I think it'll work out really good.
Maybe we should do a video on that, huh?
Yeah. And in the long run, it's actually cheaper than using several boxes of ammunition to try and sight this in.
Right.
Well, it's cheaper for you guys. You didn't have to pay for it.
Under $200, I think that's pretty cheap right there. You go use up $200 of ammunition real quick these days.
All right, well, that video's to come, but about these sights.
Yes, Advantage Tactical, you can put any combination of 5 different colors on the rear, 5 different colors on the front. You also have a choice now of what they call Firefly. And what the Firefly is any kind of light that you expose this to, and it glows for a long time, a couple hours, usually in natural sunlight. And you get 5 different colors for the front, and now they have different colors of Firefly. This is the coral, and you have the lime green. The coral shows up very well with the yellow, which is what we were using. We just chose a couple at random and found out that that's actually a really good color combination. And all of us did fairly well with it.
Yeah, we actually did, yeah.
The sight it does.
Yeah.
If you use the sight. So it was actually, I was fairly impressed. And for 3 people who've never seen this before, never used this before, and was hitting the target, I mean, that says it all.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Scott, as always, Scott of Scotty's Gunworks over here in Jolton, Tennessee, thank you very much for your help on this. And
My pleasure. Enjoy doing it.
You saw it here on the Poboy Special channel with Scotty's help.
My final thoughts on this. I thought, well, really didn't know a whole lot about it at first, had my reservations, but I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. I'm glad I did, because there are no mistakes using this sight system. Once it's aligned, you're on target. There's no mistaking, no guessing, no off a little bit, and that makes a big difference when you're at 15, 25 yards. I mean, when it's on, it's on. There's no guessing, there's no free floating front side. I mean, it's on. The other thing I like about it is the variety of colors that it comes with. Here we chose the yellow on the rear and the coral firefly for the front. You can choose whatever color combination you wish. It comes with 5 different colors for the rear and 5 different colors for the front. Now the firefly is a little bit extra and it's something separate. What it is if it's exposed to light or a flashlight, it glows for a long time, and boy is it bright in low light to no light situations. So that's what I put on the front side. But you can interchange this. You can have any color combination you want that you choose. This yellow with this coral, man, that makes that coral really stand out, really pop. So that's why I chose that combination. But for anybody else, you can choose for the rear side green or pink or white or yellow or any combination for the rear, and the same is true for the front. You can make it the same color, green and green, yellow and yellow, whatever you want. And man, to have that advantage over everything else is phenomenal. That is kudos in my book. So when you get a system that you can change the color of the sights at will, and we showed you how to do it, it's very simple. They really thought outside the box, thought it well through, and I give them a 10 thumbs up for that. We shot it with the laser, shot it outside with regular ammunition, have had no problems, no qualms, dead on, very accurate, very quick target acquisition. So those are my final thoughts. I really enjoy this sight system. You should try it out. You should at least try it. And I was blown away, and I was pleasantly surprised by it, as probably you will be too. So there you go. You saw it here on the Poboy Special channel.